Yo, tapping in real quick for this UFC 310 that's fitting to take place December 7th in Las Vegas in the T-Mobile Arena, where that main event is a flyweight scrap, where that flyweight strap is very much so up for grabs between a crafty, OG, UFC, battle-tested veteran and a newcomer. You know what I'm talking about? I said it before, and I'll say it again. I don't give a fuck how many fights you have from over there. When you come over here, you're very much so just a prospect amongst these individuals over here. And normally, we get a prospect from over there up against, a prospect from over here. But that's not the case in this situation. It's a prospect from over there up against a crafty, OG, UFC, battle-tested veteran. You understand what I'm saying to you? And it is what it is, man. I do appreciate y'all for tapping in. This is the full card breakdown and predictions. I'll do my best as not to hold y'all ear hostage for too long. You know what I'm talking about? But you already know how that go. This sunlight fucking with me. It's, picking and choosing where it wants to popping, dropping, everything else it wants to do all in my motherfucking face, man. But outside of that, let's dive into this, man. Like I said, I'll do my best not to hold y'all ear hostage for too long, but you already know how that go. I don't necessarily know what that lineup's gonna be come fight night, but this is the lineup I have in front of me right now. So this very much so is the one that we're gonna rock with. You know what I'm talking about? Let's dive into it, man. We have, Kennedy Nchukwu versus Lucas Breast. I don't know how you say. Listen, I don't even know if I'm saying Kennedy last name right. You dig me? So we have Kennedy and Lucas. You know what I'm talking about? And for what it's worth, I'm rocking with Kennedy. I don't know what the money line is looking like for these fights. Scratch that. Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I just didn't jot them down on here. And the Kennedy and Nchukwu versus Lucas money line wasn't available. And that's my bad. I didn't jot these money lines down, but I do know who's the favorite. I do know who's the dog. And I do have some parlays, I'm talking about on the next page for y'all. And we are going to breeze through this, as quickly and as painlessly as possible. You know what I mean? But for what it's worth, man, it's Kennedy versus Lucas, man. And I can see Kennedy getting the finish inside the distance. You know what I mean? Lucas is tough for what it's worth, But I can see Kennedy finding the finish inside the distance. If not, then it's going to be Kennedy via unanimous decision if Lucas survives. You know what I'm talking about? If it goes the full distance and we get 15 minutes, my bad, I dropped the motherfucking green game on the floor, man. We can't do it like that. You know what I'm talking about? If it goes 15 minutes, man, it's Kennedy and Nchukwu by unanimous decision, in my personal opinion. I don't think there's a night where Lucas can secure a victory against Kennedy, especially the way Kennedy's looked as of late, coming off of that ridiculous loss to OSP. You know what I'm talking about? He didn't like that, and it showed in his next performance. You know what I'm talking about? It is what it is, man. For this level of opposition, for these two individuals, I think Kennedy's just a bit too much for him absolutely everywhere. You know what I'm talking about? Now we got the rebooking of Chris Weidman versus Eric Anders. You know what I'm talking about? I was all over Chris Weidman before. I'm all over Chris Weidman now. You know what I'm talking about? Nothing spectacular about Chris Weidman. We've been down this road. We've been over this before. But there's absolutely nothing spectacular about Eric Anders either. You know what I'm talking about? When you talk about the level of opposition that these individuals have been competing against, who they've been producing their bodies of work up against, Chris, obviously, former champion, by far, has been in there up against it a bit more, man. You know what I mean? He's a bit cleaner of a striker, you know what I'm talking about, and the all-around body of work that Eric Anders likes to implement, you know, grinding a motherfucker out, putting him up on that cage, beating up on him a little bit. I said it before, Chris wins those exchanges. You understand what I'm saying to you? In my personal opinion, he can't do that. If he wants to beat Chris, he has to do so via catching Chris, clipping Chris, and disconnecting Chris from his consciousness, which can happen. You know what I'm talking about? I would not be surprised if it happened. Like if Eric Anders knocked out Chris Weidman and Anthony Smith knocked out Dominic Reyes, I wouldn't be surprised. You know what I'm talking about? But I expect both Chris Weidman and Dominic Reyes to win their fights, man. You know what I mean? So it is what it is. For what it's worth, they rebooked it. And in my personal opinion, they possibly, you know, they probably rebooked it a bit too fast for Eric Anders. You know what I mean? He's the one that pulled out. Not necessarily sure what injury made him pull out, but I did say in the videos leading up to that fight that he looked a bit stiff on face-off night when he got up on the scale. You know what I mean? Something to the right side, like, seemed to be bothering him. And I don't know that it's not still bothering him. You know what I mean? So, we gonna have to see how that one goes. You know what I mean? But Chris is the pick. You feel me? I didn't see that money line neither. I ain't gonna hold you. I didn't see that Chris or Eric money line neither. So while Kennedy's the pick, I don't know how big of a favorite he's going to be. Probably significant so. Zeus, watch out, boy. Chris is the pick over Eric. I don't know what the money line's going to be there. Probably more so like what it looked like for the last time they were booked. Possibly with Chris being a bit, you know, more of a favorite due to the fact that Eric's the one that pulled out. You know what I'm saying? So anybody who likes Eric might be getting him at a dog tag right now. I don't know. I didn't peep that money line. Vicente Luque versus Themba. Now, this one actually surprised me for what it's worth, man. Vicente's the dog. We are in the dog house. You know what I'm talking about? And it is what it is. This one did surprise me, man. You know what I'm talking about? Because I honestly thought Vicente Luque, you know, I get it. He was supposed to fight Nick Diaz, so y'all had him at like a minus 700. You feel what I'm saying to you? Leaving Nick Diaz at like a plus 450. Now he's fighting Themba. But why he's the underdog, I don't know. Like Themba, he's looked good for what it's worth when he's looked good up against who he's looked good up against. You understand what I'm saying to you? Nowhere near the level of opposition that Vicente Luque's been in there with. You know what I mean? And I don't know. Maybe Themba can go out there and get this one done. I'm on the side of Vicente Luque. Nothing has changed there, man. And Vicente Luque at a dog tag, I'm all right with that, man. Not a fight that I have a high interest in, but, you know, I will have a play on Vicente in some way, shape, form, or fashion. I will attach him to some parlay. You know what I'm talking about? Probably just prelim plays, you feel me? But it is what it is, man. I feel like Vicente Luque was properly preparing, you know, to get Nick Diaz up out of there. Like, he wanted to get Nick Diaz up out of there inside the distance viciously. He wanted to put on a motherfucking masterclass. Like, he wanted to turn him right back around and not let him come back in here and shine in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Like, I feel like Vicente Luque is going to be, you know, on point. And if Themba can beat and on point Vicente, then, hey, man, it is what it is. You know what I'm talking about? Now, my action starts here. You know what I mean? Vicente, I think, was like a plus 138 or something like that. I can't remember. He wasn't that big of a dog, though. But he was a dog. Maybe he was like around 150. I think maybe Choi was 138. I don't know. One of these motherfuckers was around 138. But he's not that big of a dog. You know what I mean? Maybe he's around 160 or something. Maybe he's around 160 or something. You know what I'm saying? But for what it's worth. You know what I'm talking about? Brian versus Randy. I'm all over Brian Battle right now. I think Brian Battle's an absolute problem for just about anybody that gets in there with him right now. You know what I'm saying? He's, you know, you match him up against a certain level of opposition, a certain individual, we'll have a different conversation. But as of right now, there's not a whole lot to talk about. I think he's going to get Randy Brown out of there, and I think he's going to get Randy Brown out of there inside the distance. You know what I'm talking about? Via KO, TKO, or via submission. And if he doesn't, he's going to produce the better body of work over the course of 15 minutes. I don't think Randy Brown is fucking with Brian Battle right now. You know what I'm talking about? I think Brian Battle's gonna cap the fucking year off with the with another finish, with another performance of the night worthy, you know, performance if it goes the distance. But I like Battle, man. With all due respect to Randy, man. You know what I mean? Randy's long. He's lanky. He knows how to use that range. He got a bit of pop in his shots. He can be dangerous up against certain individuals. But Brian's not the one. I think Brian's a bad stylistic matchup for him, man. You know what I mean? So I'm rocking with him. Joshua versus Cody. I'm all over Joshua Van for the KO, TKO inside the distance, somewhere in round 2. You know what I mean? Maybe round 3. If not, then Joshua Van via decision. I think he's going to beat up Cody, though. You know what I mean? I think he's going to hurt Cody, man. Not a whole lot to talk about there. We know what Cody's going to do. You know, he's willing to go out on his shield. He's willing to give him. You know, he's willing to take some to give some. And he's willing to take risks to get the fight where he wants it to be. You know what I'm talking about? And you got to respect that, man. It's going to be a good fight. But it's also going to be a good night. You know what I'm talking about? Because Joshua's going to put out his fucking lights. He's going to disconnect this young man from his consciousness when he rips that body and comes back up top and then just riddles him with a combination. You know what I'm talking about? So, it is what it is, man. I like the kid to get it done, man. Now, here's where shit gets spicy for me, man. Here is where shit gets spicy for me, man. Masvar, however you saw Evilov, however you say his name, versus Aljo. This is where it gets spicy for me, man. Like, I get it. I get it. I like, you know, when we're talking about Masvar, we got to talk about his last 3 opponents. We can't really talk about much other than that. You know, we talk about Dan Ige, we talk about Diego Lopez, and we talk about Arnold Allen. Because they're all good fucking wins. You know what I'm talking about? Arnold Allen being the best one in my personal opinion. And Aljo's produced a good body of work as well against the level of opposition he did. Former champion in his division. You know what I'm talking about? These two individuals like to implement their all-around body of work. You know, you look at Masvar's wins over Arnold Allen and Diego and, you know, Ige, and you look at the takedowns and the body of work produced is very similar to that of Aljamain Sterling's, man. Who's going to get the best of who? Who's going to be able to lock up and secure these takedowns? Who's going to put who in a compromisable position? Who's going to hurt who on the feet? Who's going to produce the better body of work over the course of 15? You know what I'm talking about? Fuck, man. Fuck. Fuck. I want so bad, you know, for Aljo to be able to do it. But something keeps telling me that, you know, Masvar's offensive and defensive wrestling and grappling and his boxing, his clean and his crisp techniques, you know, I feel like he might be able to make this fight look like kind of similar to Jan versus Figueiredo. You know what I'm talking about? Where he just, if he wants to keep it upright, he keeps it upright. And maybe he lands the cleaner, crisper shots. But this is 3 rounds, man. This isn't 5 rounds. It's hard to see, you know, outside of getting clipped and getting hurt, it's hard to really see Aljo dropping. 2 out of 3 rounds, man. Same can be said about Evilov too, man. Oh, I'm so fucked up on this pick. I'm so back and forth and fucked up on this pick, man. And I can see it coming, just properly prepare for being on the wrong side of it, man. I'm gonna stick with the homie. I'm not gonna go against the grain. It's Aljamain, man. It's Aljamain. I'll go out on the shield with the homie. I'll rub it in the chest with him. You know what I'm talking about? It's Aljo. I'm not gonna go against the grain as far as the pick's concerned. Fuck that, man. I don't give a fuck what I've been wrestling with. What's been, playing tug of war in my consciousness and my gut and my heart and everything's just got a 3-way tug of war going on right now, man. Fuck it. You know what I mean? We just gonna drown out all the motherfucking noise and roll the dice with the ball, man. Roll the dice with the homie, man. It's gonna be Aljamain, man. It's gonna be Aljamain. It's gonna be Aljamain, man. I keep saying that over and over and over again because, that tug of war that's going on inside. It's like, come on, motherfucker. No. You've already, yeah, but we not pick switching. So it's Aljamain, man. It's Aljamain. You know what I mean? Ain't nothing changed from when we did these things in the video a couple days ago. Me posting whatever, my little pictures and my little pics and whatever the fuck. I'm tug of warring over here, man. I'm tug of warring over here. You know what I'm talking about? But we sticking to the guns, man. We standing on all this over here. Aljo's the pick, man. Aljo's the pick. I got to keep it moving. I can't talk about this shit no more. Max is the pick over Michael. You know what I'm talking about? Michael Chiesa, I respect you, but you catching the L, and hopefully it's just via decision. Hopefully, you get a couple minor, cuts and bumps, and you don't get beat up too much, man. But I like Max to get this one done. Michael Chiesa's look good. Lightweight, welterweight, you know what I'm talking about? And Max has had a roller coaster up here, at welterweight the whole time. But he's solid, man. He's well-rounded. He's powerful. He's got more dog in him. And I actually thought, he might have been the dog in this, but he's actually the slight favorite, like a -158 or something like that. So it is what it is, man. Max is the pick over Michael Chiesa. Listen, Clay the Carpenter, Guida, that's my guy. There's nothing he could do that I would say, oh man, I'm fucking surprised. Like he's a savage, man. He's an animal. You know what I mean? He's gonna go in there and he's gonna give it his all absolutely every time. I just think Chase is gonna catch him and get him out of there inside the distance, possibly via submission from a head choke or a guillotine. You know what I'm talking about when Clay tries to implement that wrestling. Possibly via catching, clipping, and disconnecting from his consciousness. Maybe we get a fight of the night. But I'm rocking with Chase. But Chase is like a -700, man. So I got no action on Chase. I would never bet on Chase over a -500. I don't give a fuck. And I'm not going in the method section or the double chance section trying to find a prop for Chase. I'm leaving this fight the fuck alone. You know what I'm talking about? Chase is the pick just like Dominic's the pick, man. It's Dominic Reyes and Anthony Smith, man. I wouldn't be surprised about anything that happened in this fucking fight. I wouldn't be surprised if this shit was a timid back and forth whack-ass chess match that Lionheart came out on top of via decision. You know what I mean? Split majority or, God forbid, unanimous. I wouldn't be surprised if Dominic knocked Anthony Smith the fuck out. I wouldn't be surprised if Anthony Smith knocked Dominic the fuck out or submitted him. You know what I'm talking about? I wouldn't be surprised about anything in this matchup, man. I like Dom to get it done, though, man. I wouldn't be surprised, but I do think Dom gets it done. I am highly confident that he gets it done. I would not be surprised. I'm highly confident that Chase gets it done, but I wouldn't be surprised if Clay did something to him. You know what I'm talking about? It is what it is, man. Dom's the pick. Bryce Mitchell's the pick over Kron. Just don't play in the Kron's wheelhouse. Don't get too close and engage with this man in the phone booth. He's a fucking savage. He's a fucking dog. He'll go out on his shield. He's tougher than a motherfucker. He durable as all hell. It's not easy to get him to go out on his shield. Just don't play into his wheelhouse. Pick him apart from the outside, man. Don't follow him down to the ground as much as you may like to. You know what I'm talking about? As much as you like to do your best body of work there. Or do follow him down to the ground and play with fire. It's up to Bryce, man. Not a fight that I want anything to do with in any way, shape, form, or fashion, man. You know what I mean? Bryce is the pick, though. Nate versus Choi, with all due respect to Nate. Nate's a dog, man. He's a savage, he's tough, he's durable, and he'll go out on his shield. He's willing to take risks, you know what I mean? And he can fucking crack, but so can Choi. Choi is fucking dangerous. And Choi, unfortunately, I believe is going to get our boy out of there inside the distance via KO, TKO, or submission. You know what I'm talking about? I don't think this goes the distance. I don't believe this will go the first 15 minutes. The safest bet as far as this thing going anywhere near the distance would be, will this fight start round 3? Maybe you could say yes to that, but I don't even know about that. I think Choi's going to get him the fuck up out of there. They both can crack. Choi just a bit more. Choi's just a bit more dangerous. Absolutely everywhere this fight can take place, in my personal opinion, Choi is the pick. You know what I'm talking about? So that is what that is, man. You know what I mean? And as much as I want to pick switch on over to Ciryl Gane, I'm not going to do it because I'm standing on my picks and we not pick switching. We just properly preparing for being on the, wrong side of that pick. Fuck the right to wrong ratio as long as these parlay placements are proper and we getting paid at the end of the night, man. You know what I mean? So as much as I would like to say Ciryl Gane's going to get this one done in the rematch, he got it done unanimously. In a 5-round match, and the first time they faced each other, the first time they squared off, Ciryl Gane took the nod via unanimous decision in a 25-minute, highly competitive matchup. You know what I mean? This is 15 minutes. It's not 25 minutes, and I'm standing on my pick with Alexander Volkov. I don't think this one ends inside the distance. Again, I think it's going to go the distance, but this time it's only 15 minutes. So can Volkov get in there and edge Ciryl out 2-1, possibly get a split or majority decision in this one to set these individuals up for a future rubber match down the road, possibly, title contender, you know what I mean, for their rubber match. If Alexander's able to win this one and Gane goes and wins another one, and maybe Alexander fights and they set him up down the road for a rubber match, or maybe Alexander ends up losing one, whatever, man. I'm going to rock with Alexander, man. Use them teep kicks, use them, use that range, play that distance game, keep that danger at bay. He's going to be doing the same. He's going to be trying to implement an all-around body of work. Just, get yours off first, man. You know what I mean? I'm going to rock with him, though. I'm not going to pull back on him, man. I'm rocking with him to go ahead and get, boy, that motherfucker's right in my face. God damn. Ain't that about a fucking bitch? Shit. That motherfucker blasted me. That motherfucker blasted me. God damn. Shit. Yeah, Volkov's the pick, man. You know what I'm talking about? That son ain't playing fair. That thing disrespectful as shit right now. That joint trying to smack me right in the fucking face. Yeah, we can't play like that. We can't play like that, Scrap. You ain't playing fair right now. You know what I'm talking about? Alexander's the pick, man. Much as I want to switch to Ciryl, I'm not going to do it. I'm going to stay with Alexander, man. You know what I mean? Because we ain't doing that, man. On the Shavkat versus Ian, and it's still Shavkat for me. And it's Shavkat to keep that 100% finishing rate intact. Catch that submission. Catch Ian slipping when he tries to implement some wrestling and grappling. You know what I mean? Or maybe just catch him slipping on his own mission to find a submission. You know what I'm talking about? Maybe he clips him. Ian's been hurt before by, a lesser level of opposition in my personal opinion. So he can be hurt, man. Maybe he wins his first victory via decision like a nickel or a roughie. You know what I'm talking about? But I'm with him, man. I'm rocking with him. I'm confident in him. You know what I'm talking about? And Alexander Pantoja in the main event versus Kai, old boy, whatever his name is. I wanted to pick switch to him just to be spicy, just to spice shit up, you know what I'm talking about, for the main event, for absolutely no reason at all, you know what I mean? But I'm standing on my pick with the OG, man. You know what I mean? Kai gonna have to make us a believer. Like I said in the previous video, man. He gonna have to make a motherfucker a believer, man. You feel me? And if he does it, you know, would I be surprised? Not so much so, as I'm not somebody who's ever really been extremely high on Pantoja. He's a guy that gets it done, though. You know what I'm talking about? And, you know, outside of something like what with Ming and Fang earlier, outside of something like that happening, you know, or getting molly-whopped and hopped on like Gabby and Kong, you know what I mean? Outside of something crazy happening, I don't know that he can beat Pantoja via decision. And he's been finished inside the distance in his own right. He knows what it's like to lose. It's not like we're getting an individual who's never lost a fight and who's undefeated. He's coming over here already been beaten via KO, TKO inside the distance. You know what I'm talking about? Already been beaten via decision, in my personal opinion. Like, he knows what it's like to lose at a lesser level of opposition. So it is what it is, man. They trying to get him in the door. For whatever reason, they trying to get him in the door. I've been back and forth, playing tug of war. Fuck the dumb shit. We standing on our picks, just like we said before. You know what I mean? Kennedy. We rocking with Kennedy. Whatever the money line is, I don't know yet. More times than not, he's going to be a significant favorite, something ridiculous. I just probably won't touch it, you know what I'm saying? But Kennedy versus Lucas, we rocking with Kennedy. Chris over Eric, we rocking with Chris. Vicente over Themba, we rocking with Vicente. Brian over Randy, we rocking with Brian. Joshua over Cody, we rocking with Joshua. Aljo over Masvar, we rocking with Aljo. Max over Michael, we rocking with Max. Chase over Clay, we rocking with Chase. Dom over Anthony, we rocking with Dom. Bryce over Crime, we rocking with Bryce. Choi over Nate, we rocking with Choi. Alexander over Surreal, we rocking with motherfucking Alexander to get it done this go around. Shavkat over Ian, we rocking with Shavkat. And we rocking with Alexander, man, to hold down the motherfucking throne in the main event, man, and not let that shit slip. You know what I'm talking about? So, yeah, man, that's that with that, man. All the tug and warring, all the back and forth, all of that shit is over with, man. You know what I mean? Now, these is just parlay options. If you like them, you like them. If you don't, you don't. Run from them, run with them, do whatever you want to do with them. You know what I'm talking about? I like them, so I'm fucking with them. Now, I like Joshua and Max. Joshua and Max come together at plus 156. But my three-legger comes together at plus 255, because while I like Joshua and Max at plus 156, I also like Brian Battle, and those three get me plus 255. I'm solid on that right there. You know what I'm talking about? I'm dropping on that right there. Give me Joshua, give me Max, and give me Brian Battle at motherfucking plus 255. You know what I'm talking about? I'm solid on that, man. Now, I got 2 5-leggers that I'm solid on and I'm dropping on as well. You know what I'm talking about? One's plus 551, one's plus 560. You know what I'm talking about? You'll notice some properly prepared placement here. I got Joshua and Max at plus 156. I tossed in Brian. That put me at plus 255. Then I tossed in Surreal and Dominic. And those 5 favorites put me at plus 551. I'm solid with that. I'm dropping on that. You know what I'm talking about? Now, I got Joshua, Max, Brian, Dominic, and Evilov. Huh? And those 5 favorites came in at plus 560. I'm solid with that. I'm dropping on that. You know what I'm talking about? You notice the placement, though. I properly prepared myself for being on the wrong side of that motherfucking Alexander pick was surreal right there. And those 5 favorites came together at plus 551. I'm solid, man. I drop a half a man on that, $50. 5 legs on 5 favorites at plus 551. I'll put $50 on it, $10 a man. Bang. Give me that. Boom. I'm going to put that to the side. Then give me these 5. Joshua, Max, Brian, Dominic, and Masvar at plus 560. Those 5 favorites, 5 legs at plus 560. $10 a man. I'm going to put 50 on it. Boom. And put that to the side. You know what I'm talking about? Both of them can smack. All I did was take the Surreal fight out of that and replace it with the Masvar fight. You understand what I'm saying to you? So both of them can smack if I'm on the wrong side of Aljo and on the wrong side of Alexander, and these other individuals come through. Both of them can smack $50 at plus 551 and $50 at plus 560. You know what I'm talking about? Then I got something on my, you know, my 3 legs right there at plus 255 prior to that. You know what I mean? So if what I do moving forward, and he plays with Aljo, and he plays with Volkov, you know what I'm talking about? These plays right here, 5 legs, 5 favorites at plus 551, and 5 legs, 5 favorites at plus 560, $50 on each one are put to the side. You know what I'm talking about? And I'm catching that now while those 5 legs are at 551 and those 5 legs are at 560 before later on this week, and next week they're only at like plus 2 something. You know what I'm talking about? Because jokers are going to be parlaying them up, and these money lines are going to be going up. You know what I'm talking about? So I'm going to catch that now, put that to the side now. So if what I do moving forward goes left on me, I got that solid sitting to the side, man. Then I got Joshua, Max, and Brian at 255. You feel what I'm saying to you? Now listen, I got a nice little joint at, you know, I'll tell you how I get there, man. You know what I mean? Shavkat, Surreal, Dominic, and Brian. You know what I mean? Those 4, they come in at plus 244. You know what I'm talking about? You toss in Max, them 5 come at plus 428. Now, if you take Max out, Shavkat, Surreal, Dominic, Brian at 244. You toss in Evilov, they come at plus 366. You know what I mean? Now, when I swap them all, Shavkat, Surreal, Dominic, Brian, Evilov, and Max, that's 6 legs, 6 favorites, at plus 660. I got 60 on that. Huh? I need that. 6 legs, 6 favorites, at plus 660, $10 a man, $60 on that. Now I take that, and I put that over there with my five legs, 5 favorites at plus 551, and my 5 legs, 5 favorites at plus 560. They both got 50 on them. I take them 6 legs, 6 favorites at plus 660 and put 60 on it, and I throw them all over in the same bucket. Fuck it. If my shit go left, I go to that bucket real quick and see what we working with. You know what I'm talking about? But outside of that, you know what I mean? Listen, Brian, Dominic, Shavkat, Max, and Masvar, you can catch those 5 at plus 443. You figured, me? Listen, man, it is what it is. And then I got, you know, a little haymaker that I'm tossing in while the line is what it is. And then that's going to be that with that. I'm going to zone in on my prelim parlays, my main card parlays, and, you know, find all my solid main plays. But Joshua, Max, and Brian, Dominic, Masvar, Surreal. Those 6 come together at plus 841. You know what I'm talking about? Boom. Toss in Shavkat. Those 7 come together at plus 1145. Boom. I toss in Choi as my 1 dog, and those 8 come together at plus 2838. You know what I mean? And I could take a nice little yard. I could take a light little yard, man. You know what I mean? And these 6, you know, these 6 right here, I might put 30 on them. You know what I mean? I could put 60 on them 6. You feel me? And then put 35 on them motherfucking 7. You know what I mean? But I put 30 on the motherfucking 6. 35 on the 7. You know what I mean? That's 65. You feel what I'm saying to you? And then I throw 20 on the motherfucking 8. That's 85. And then I might take that little last 15 and find me like a 9-legger and put 10 on, you know, a 9-legger and a 10-legger or something. Maybe a couple 10-leggers or a few 10-leggers, 3 10-leggers, you know what I mean? Different variations, and just put them $5 on it. But I'll put my yard like that, you know what I mean? You feel me? But that's as far as covering my back door with Masvar and covering my back door with Surreal is concerned. You understand what I'm saying to you? I got this work right here that I'm putting in. Boom. And I'm putting that shit in today. You know what I'm talking about? So I can catch these numbers right now. The way these numbers is ringing right now. I like the way they're ringing. I'm putting that work in right now. You feel me? So that's going to be a half a man, and 60. You know, that's a light little $160. And we're going to slide over here with the buck. You feel what I'm saying to you? That's a light little $260. And then I got my 3-leg play out here. You know what I'm talking about? That's a light little motherfucking 30. You know what I mean? And then I might, you know, since that's 290 or something, I might just put a 10-legger in and put 10 hours on that motherfucker. You feel what I'm saying to you? And let that 300 ride. You know what I mean? Then I'm going to zone in. I'm going to zone in for my prelims and my main card and my whole card. And I'm going to fucking, you know, I'll probably put like a, you know, I'll probably put a nickel into this card. So you just heard about 3. You know what I mean? Then I'll probably do a couple little $25 bets, maybe a couple half a man, couple $50 bets, and let that be that with that. You know what I mean? Something like little $25 bet on the prelims, couple little $25 bets on the prelims, couple little $25 bets on the main card, and then, you know, maybe a couple little, you know, like a little $50 joint for the whole card or something, you know what I mean? Maybe a $50 on the main, a $50 on the prelims, and then a couple $25 joints for the whole card type shit. You feel what I'm saying to you? Because there's some favorites in here, man, that I feel like is going to get the job done. You know what I mean? So I put down a little bit heavy on them. But I'm telling you right now, we going to make this motherfucking nickel pop this week. You know what I mean? Listen, I got 50 on 5 legs at plus 551. That's Joshua, Max, Brian, Surreal, and Dominic. Then I got 50 on 5 legs at plus 560. Joshua, Max, Brian, Dominic, and Masvar. Then I got 60 on 6 legs. Shavkat, Surreal, Dominic, Brian, motherfucking Evilov, and motherfucking Max. You know what I'm talking about? And that's 6 legs at plus 660. 5 legs at 551. 5 legs at 560. You know what I'm talking about? Then I got 8 legs over here at 841. You feel me? Joshua, Max, Brian, Dominic, Masvar, and Surreal. Then I toss in Shavkat. You know, I mean, that's 6 legs, I mean. Then I toss in Shavkat as my 7th leg at plus 1145. And Choi is my motherfucking 8th leg at plus 2838. You know what I'm talking about? And that's just how that's going to go, man. 50 there, 50 there. You know what I'm talking about? 60 there. You feel what I'm saying to you? And then it's going to be we're going to have a 30 here, the 35 here. You know what I mean? And the 25 here. Then I come over this motherfucker. And I'm going to have my light little, my 3-leg play. You know what I'm talking about, for $30 over this motherfucker. You feel me? So that's what that's going to look like. As far as having Dominic and Evilov wrapped up in my motherfucking plays, man. You notice I ain't touching on that motherfucking main event, man. You know what I mean? That just is what that is. We'll talk about that shit later on, man. But as far as the picks are what they are. That's them right there. You know what I'm talking about? Appreciate y'all for tapping in. It is what it is. I'm rocking with who I'm rocking with, but I'm properly prepared for being on the opposite side of some of those picks as far as parlays are concerned. I'm going to tap back in, you know, probably tomorrow with the full parlay video for the prelims, the main card, the whole card, the dog plays, the, you know, all favorites, the swap out options, and what I'm personally investing the rest of my little nickel or possibly, you know what I mean, 6-piece into for this card. You feel me? And we just had to see where all these dice lay at together, man. You know what I mean? Appreciate y'all for tapping in. Like I said, they parlay options. You can run with them or run from them. Do what you want to do with them. I know what I'm doing with them. You know what I'm talking about? I'm all over them. But I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Peace and blessings.